one of the vibrations, this is Celeste from my ascension show that we try and do every day. The study hall that I normally go into is being used this week, so we're gonna do it just from a casual environment. So we'll have to be a little bit quieter because there's people that are meeting in the common area. So we'll try and keep it quiet. So it is the season. I love this time of year. So I've been talking to my celestials and all of my little helpers. So just watch in the background of my videos while we're in these different environments, because they said that they're gonna show themselves. So that's lovely. So how's everybody doing today? Before we get right in our topics, everybody feeling really good and having the beautiful fall weather? I'm sending love and light out to all of humanity. I'm sending love and light out to all of those that are doing their very best to maintain their vibration every day while going through much change in your families and in the transitions of what you've called friends. And just know that it's a normal experience. You have to move through this in ascension where you're exchanging different friendship groups, you're exchanging what you thought you knew about friends and family, and you're having to renegotiate what that means for you on a daily basis. So just know that that's a normal process. You're allowing yourself to elevate into a new frequency of self-love and self-care. Therefore, you're going to command it and you're going to demand it. Hello, sweetheart. Hello. Thank you so much for being so sweet. Again, this morning, I just got the notification. You're so sweet. Thank you. I'm going to wish you many blessings. We're going to talk about you today, too, because the topic today is gratitude. Yay. I tried something different with my makeup today, a little bit more green. So I felt that I wanted to bring some heart chakra activation. So we're going to do a heart chakra activation because we're going to talk about gratitude and how gratitude is the epitome of, I wouldn't have gotten through what I got through without, I have my good cry and I understand. I go to source and I say, how can I understand what's happening to me? The losses and getting things stolen every other day. Because that's what living on the street is. You don't trust anybody on the street. And doing the light work that I do after you have stuff stolen and the constant perpetuation of challenge and challenge and challenge and climbing up hurdles after hurdles. And I have to break down sometimes. And I say to source, what are these lessons that I'm learning? And sometimes they do say that we're sorry these things are happening. This should not go on. This is because it's just constant, relentless attacks, constant, relentless, gangs and groups of people that are monopolizing. They're wanting to fight for energy. They're wanting to fight for lineage name. They're wanting to fight because my lineage name goes so far back. And some of these people that have been in the story forever, literally, they still think they have a say. They still think they have a clout. They still think they have say over my life, which is, back in the Illuminati days, they did. The parents were telling the children what to do and where to go, and some very, illegal things happening in the families of elitism. They were wanting to have their own bloodline and their own elite, whatever it was. We don't want to go into it because it doesn't matter anymore because we're higher consciousness than that. But still, those energies are still there. The imprints are still there. That has to be transmuted. So this is what we're going to say today, is that now that we're going into a new year, and I know that many of you have gone through a lot of clearing out, you've set boundaries around your friendship circles and your family circles and what family really means to you now is going to change. But the intention that what do you want to see for the gratitude of how you want your home to be, how do you want your friendship circles to be, and how do you want your family circles to be, and know that you're setting the intention that everything that has been, the imprints, they're going to have to be cleansed, because you're still, although you've moved the people, you've chosen with intention your 3 A's, your alchemy. You've done the alchemy on those that you knew you had to cut the cords on those you knew you had to put boundaries with and set at arm's length or even more. Sometimes you even have to move away from them, right? And so those things are, you have to do these things in ascension. You have to you have to tell the universe, my energy is important. There's not going to be any further negotiation with certain relationships because they're so damaging, so harmful. And sometimes and oftentimes they're not going to get their negative karma on all the things they've done to you until you absolutely release the cord and actually move away. So when you've shown the universe that you have moved away, that your energy and your love for yourself is higher and best above all, when you show the universe this, you're giving the heavens the okay that they're ready to receive their karma for what they've done to you, because you're getting to move forward in what's important for you. Your self-love is everything. So you do have to go through those manual steps That's the will of the Father. That's the divine masculine energy. You do have to go through the divine masculine energies to show the universe that no, I'm more important, and if I have to be homeless, I will. I'm moving away from these toxic people. And if I hadn't have done that, there's no way I would have survived. I mean, no, obviously, there's no way I would have survived. So what we want to do is we want to set the intentions for the imprints. We want to, so write that down, because it is kind of important. It is kind of important that you clear the imprints of what your family has kind of, expected you to move through, especially those, right now what's happening. Most of you will know, if you've been in the ascension arena, most of you know that there is a transitioning of wealth on the planet, and that transitioning of wealth is going to come with a whole bunch of imprints. There is some clearing that the heavens will do, and that your lineage will do, and your ancestors will do, but you have to set the stage that when you're receiving this new wealth and inheritance, when you're receiving the first will be last, last will be first, and the sharing of the global wealth, you do have to set new imprints and intentions, because there's going to be a whole bunch of imprints that are going to come in, and there's going to be those around you that are going to be expecting, which is an imprint, the expectations of others around you, their conformity, their familial beliefs. All of these things are like imprints, because they're projecting the energy at you that they're going to expect you doing the same thing that has always been done. And as code breakers, and as crystalline children, and as those of us that have been through hell, no, that's not how it's going to go. We're doing what's right now for the greater good. We know what mistakes have been made. We know what has been going on in the family lineages before us that has been catastrophic. It's been corrupt. It's not going to run that way anymore. You're going to have weekly family accounting meetings where you're going to watch where the money's going, how it's going, and you're going to have a say in it. Each of you get a say on how it goes, so you can think of better, you can think of better ways to move about a family joint inheritance, if you will. And everybody gets a say, especially if they're older, if the children are older, obviously. But allow the children to also be a part of that type of, allow the children to be a part of their booking and their accounting, right? You get the children more responsible with money, and get them knowing that the flow of energy has everything to do with your flow of abundance. So if you're holding back in any area, if you're if you're negating anything or being controlling in any area, it's going to stop that flow. So just know that the universe is abundant. Source is infinitely abundant. And so don't have fears about, spending the money in appropriate areas, but really putting it back towards, there's going to be a focus on, and my teams have been saying this for about 6 months, there's going to be a focus on collective, collective regeneration. Collective, what are you building for, like a brand for yourself? How is that brand going back to the community? How's that brand going back to the collective? And I'm going to be actually making new appointments for the new year. Is that going through, it's like a 5D vocational alignment session, but this time we're going to flip it and say, how can you look at the overall books of what you're doing, the money of what you're doing, because I have a lot of financial background, and then you can go see your investors that are certified, because my certificates have long run out, because I was just bored in it. But I do have investing in financial management, so I do have that in my background, and lending and mortgages and commercial lending and all those things. I do have a lot of financial background in my background, but I can help you, assist you in looking at your business books, and then what part of the business is comfortable for you to allot to giving back, and we can think of different ideas of ways to give back to the community based on what source your teams are saying from that sacred trinity, because there's going to be no middlemen anymore. So you want to absolutely align your business, what you're making, and then going right to the people, but what ideas and what inspirations can we start brainstorming for you and your business, and what allocations of that money, and then you can start thinking about, okay, well, do I need 2 part-time people, maybe a couple hours a week, and how they're going to help with that. Because also too, just know this, that Source is always telling me, we're going to be a lot more financially savvy. So I'm going to be holding some of those classes. What you can also just know that if you have something that you want to move out into the collective, you can say, well, I'm going to need 2 people to help with that because of mailing lists or whatever it might be. And just tell Spirit, whatever you're going to need for that, if your resources are minimal, but you want to stretch your dollar as far as you can, then have Source show you those people that can come in and maybe do volunteer work, maybe do work experience work for you, and just do job shadowing and things like that, which is just gaining on their the resume for work experience. And then you can work something out. So there's always those opportunities that I would say take advantage of. I've used those in my past when I was building a lot of my businesses. I did a lot of volunteer, a lot of contract work, where they're building up their resume with working with you and job shadowing with you. And so those are options that are very viable when you're doing your alignment with your new career, with your alignment with your new passionate craft, your alignment with your passionate experiences as you're moving into the community and offering your services in bigger and better ways. And so you can think of different brainstorming ideas of how to do that and how to do it so that it's at a cost savings for you, but you're also allowing the community to be a part of what you're doing. So that's what we wanted to talk about, imprints. When you're getting these resources and when you're bringing these new energies in and this new money in, you want to make sure that you're regularly intending the abundance flow with new imprints and new honor and new expectations and new intentions, right? You're intending it to move into the greater good and the flow of the community and to the greater collective, aligned with the Divine Father's plan. And if you align these simple things, I would write these things down. You can start intending it now. If you intend those three things, you're always going to have the benevolence of your teams, your spiritual teams, your celestial teams that are always going to make sure that they're finding new people for you, because that's what Spirit's job is too, is to bring you those next people, is to bring you those next offers or those next offerings that are going to assist you in your path. That's what Spirit does. 89% of their job is to set up those that are going to be in your divine blueprint, those that are meant to work with you, those that are going to work off their karma, maybe do some favors for you and things like that. So those are always ways that, if you want that extra help, say, I'm sure there's somebody out there that owes me some good karma. Can you have them come in and do a work experience for me? All of those things are viable, and it's what the spirit realm is used for. So have that as part of your business proposal for the new year, is tapping into how you can honor the many free ways that you can use work experience, that you can use the community environments for students, for those that want work experience. And there's many, many ways that you can collaborate with different community services as well, because they're wanting to gain work experience and you're needing it. So there's lots of different things that you can do. So use those resources, because that's part of the realms that are helping you out. Their role is to help bring in business for you, and those that are going to help collaborate with you that actually owe you something because of karma. So you don't have to ever feel bad about who God sends you, right? Because God and your spirit guides are going to send you those that owe you karma and that want to have the work experience. That's the spiritual realm's responsibility. So put those intentions out there now to help building for. So I would, this weekend, if you wanted to, this would be a perfect weekend. The number alignments are perfect this weekend. Do a number, it's really good numbers this weekend. I got chills. So those that are going to put their own business out to the collective for offering for their vocational alignment, name it Vocational Alignment Business Plan. And then over the weekend, get yourself, I have a few of these, right? Give yourself the little art journals. I have one for writing, and then I have one for my art journal, so that if I have a vision and I draw things down, like the downloads that I get from Source, or my business plan and things like that, then I do it in my art journal. And then in your art journal, do the circle, because the circle is always about you and God, and it's always about you and the infinity. And everything goes within that circle. So it's you and the creator, the collective, and Gaia. Always goes in the circle. That's your blueprint. And then on the outside of it, you're going to start brainstorming with yourself on parts of your business and the things that you're going to need, whether it's finding 3 part-time help, right? Finding, downloads or visions. Yeah, downloads are many things. We've talked about them in our videos. That's a good question, because people always ask. And those that are going to be working with their clairs, it's good to understand downloads, because there's many different downloads. And I'll go over that in a minute. So just remind me. Can you remind me about that question? That's a really good question, and I get asked it all the time. So in your business proposal for your vocational alignment, because you're going to use this if you do have to go to a bank, or if you do have to ask for money for an investor, right? We're going to be using a whole bunch of investors about this wealth going back into the collective. So just know that. You don't necessarily have to go to a bank, but there will be those that will come to you, or you'll be shown, that will be investing in you. Those that have had the abundance of resources behind them, and they're going to look to other light workers to invest in. So just know that. That's a knowing. And these are the first times we're talking about these things, so you can write these things down, because these are downloads that I'm getting, that I'm sharing them with you. This is about the 2026 financials, and you can use this as a part of your gratitude program, because your gratitude program is everything about thank you for this abundant experience, Spirit. Thank you for allowing this to be an abundant year for me. You're already precognitioning, you're precognating that energy to come back to you. You're already giving thanks for it. You're already bringing gratitude in for it. And then you're going to know that Spirit's going to help you find that part-time help. Spirit's going to help you find that office. Spirit's going to help you find that space, whatever it is that you need. So that's what Spirit's role is, but you have to set the intention. So that's why I do a business plan. So put the circle in your business plan, 2026 vocational alignment, and then put your intention in the middle, is to offer my services to the entire collective, and to have my business improve, 20 to 30%. Have that as a beautiful option, and then just give yourself, three things. Give yourself three simple, easy things. I'm going to go to the community library. I'm going to offer free classes. I'm going to offer one class a week to those that need it. I'm going to put it on my web board, one class a week for 1 hour. And that's a lot, right? You don't want to give too much away, but you want to give enough away so that those that can't afford it can get their way in. You can work out a payment program for your other options. So there's lots that you can do. So any help that you need with that, you can book a session with me. It's worth it. I've helped quite a few of my clients with their vocational alignment plans. As I said, most of my background is in business. It is in financial. And plus I've run a few of my own companies, my own small businesses. So I understand the negotiations and minutiae about it. So just, feel free to get a session with me. They're so worth it, because I understand what it means to put yourself out there. It's huge. You want your energy going into that intention. I'm going to put myself out there. That's where you want all of your energy to go. You don't want your energy to be going into all of the background stuff. And you can, again, assess how much money you have to assist other people to help you in that. But there's a lot that you can do that Spirit can really help you out with. And that's Spirit's job. Spirit wants you to be self-reliant. So write these words down. They're really important for you and your vocational alignment for 2026, because we're going into the 2026. This is the very important. 2026 is a new financial intention collectively. Wealth will be shared. This is for New Earth Star. These are the intentions of my garden, New Earth Star. Wealth will be shared. There's going to be new systems of investments. So there'll be those in the collective that will invest in you. Right? And that's your intention to ask Source Creator. I have my business plan, because Source knows how much you journal about your business, about your vocation, about your excitements. Source knows that. I'm manifesting the things coming to me right now, and it's going to be, my cup's going to be overflowing, because I do this every day. Source sees my energy every day going into this. I write my stuff out every day. It's not just a once in a while thing. No, it's every day. Right? And Source, that's what Source wants to see. Like, how serious are you? Are we going to send the best people to you, and will you use it with good conscience? Or is it going to be one of those ideas where you forget next week, right? Like, that's one of my business plans. Like, I do this every day. And then I take stuff out and I say, okay, well, I was really interested in that last week, but I'm not interested in that anymore, right? So there's going to be a new financial energy, a new financial intention, because you want to, when you're going into this new arena of 5D Earth, right? It's your becoming, your churning of who you are. You've done the integration, you're doing the alchemy. It's a constant process of, renewal within yourself, the God combining with God, the you combining with you. And you want to just keep bringing those beautiful, benevolent, gratitude, gracious, appreciation imprints. We have to change the imprints from what has been. You don't have to go crazy about it, because your teams are going to help you do a lot. When the wealth hits the collective, your teams have done a lot, and you're doing a lot every day. If you're doing your alchemy, if you're working on your stuff every day, like we ask, because you're going to be ahead of it. And then when the wealth transfer does come, you're just going to be open and receiving. But you do want to set the intention every day of releasing old imprints of old familial lineage, corrupt thinking, corrupt behaviors, corrupt imprints in your family. Sometimes the imprints in your family were abusing money, wasting it on gambling and things like that. So you're going to have to reset those intentions. Now, my intention is going to be with gratitude and abundance. Source is infinite. There will be wealth being shared. Set those intentions. Those are new laws. Collective wealth will be shared. And your vocational alignments will be going back to the collective, to serve Gaia, to serve the collective, and you're going to get the downloads directly from heaven. And these are the most efficient business ideas and opportunities only spoken through me just today. It's brand new collective energy, brand new channeled predictive energy. So these are very pristine topics, and you can listen to this video again and slow it down, and then write down exactly what we're doing, because we're going to be holding a class in the new year about this. And it's how to, have a higher vibrational vocational alignment, right? You want to have higher meaning, higher intention, higher imprints towards the business side of what you're going to offer, about your excitements, whether it's your psychic abilities. And then those that choose to do psychic and vibrational experiences, we're going to have an extra class on working with a good protocol. The reason why I've maintained and I've been lifted so high by God is because of my protocol. I would not waver on my protocol. It's something I won't waver on. I won't waver on it on any level. And everybody in the collective knows it. I'm so highly ranked in the spiritual realm because of my protocol. And the spiritual realm knows it. They know who to send me because of people that I'm meant to help realign because they have no protocol or they've been so corrupt. That's why I was the only one that could do what I could do. I was the only one that was that solid piece of kryptonite, right? I was the kryptonite. I was the spiritual kryptonite. Because of my protocol, I don't waver on it. And it's something that every human on planet Earth will have to move through many classes, many lessons, many abuses, many getting back aligned, because you're going to be falling, right? You go back 10, up 5. That's because it's been such a corrupt system, and most people have not had integrous and moralistic and ethical experiences. They've been, I didn't either. I mean, one thing, I always knew I came in with a high truth. When I was little, I was always the mediator of higher truth. I was always the mediator of fairness. What's fair, what's not fair. I would speak up for anybody that was being mistreated. Anything that was in the house that was imbalanced, I would speak up about it. So I've always had that. But in my spiritual career, in my spiritual vocation, that's the reason why I'm lifted as high as I am in the spiritual realm, and why I have so many beings and entities that are supporting me and protecting me. Because I don't waver on my protocol. So those that are doing spiritual practice and you're going to offer yourself in a vocation that way, one of your highest things that you're going to work on every day in your review of your protocol and your higher self, working with that. Because that is your godliness. That is your chakras completely aligned, and there is nothing, you will not waver. It doesn't matter how manipulative anybody is standing before you, and what I've met them. I've met the best of the manipulators. And they will not get a quirk on me. And it takes a while to earn that. That's why my path was so long. Right? You have to be able to, that's an experience. You can't just pick that up like that. It's experience. Every person you deal with on the business side, you have to be comfortable asking for money. You have to be comfortable asking for money if people owe you. You have to be comfortable saying, we've done an outline. This is what the agreement was. I was happy to lend it to you. I was happy to invest in you, but this is now the return. It needs to be returned. So you have to be comfortable asking those things, and then be very comfortable in saying the communication was this, and we've both known about it, we both signed it. So let me know if there's anything that we need to negotiate and change. So you can have those financial conversations that are going to assist you in making it easier. You know what, you want that friendly flow, because if any blocks that there will be is going to block your abundance. It's going to block that energy between you. So you want to keep having these responsible, mature conversations about your collective offering. That's why I bring it up most of my videos. I state what I'm moving through. I state the trouble that I'm moving through, where the heavens are going to help out, what help I need from the collective, because it's a contract, right? It's your contract with the collective. The collective is also due to help you out. But you have to start communicating it. I've poured a lot into the collective. I would really appreciate some donations, right? Because that's going to come back to you as well. So the more that you give and the more that you're tithing, it's going to be brought back to you, because everything in the universe, everything, whether it was you giving somebody a cookie in grade 2 because you knew that they were hungry, every single thing that you do in your life is tracked. There's a checklist on all the things that you've done as good deeds. You don't walk around with knowing it, and that's why you do good things. If you move little wormies, it's just because you love moving little wormies. I love little wormies. I want to see them back in the soil. I just do that. I just love that. God tracks everything. So just know that. It's part of your good karma ledger, right? Then when you're doing your business plan, and when you're making things like that, and you need assistance, you need that lift from the collective, you need that lift from professionals, you get to say, these are the places where I've given overly. I've done this and I've done that. And I've said this long as well, part of your protocol is having that conversation with the karma board and the spiritual board and the spiritual beings that support you. Because then you can sell them, your 2-minute elevator pitch. This is what I've done, and this is what I need, and why. You have to start taking sovereignty and commandmentship over your life. Start running your life as a business. Start running your life as a brand. And that's what Spirit told me. You are a representation of the heavens. You're a new brand now. How are you going to run it? Spirit wants to see that from you. You know, how is it going to be responsible? Is it going to be ethical? You know, what is your terms going to be if there's somebody owes you? What kind of a communication are you going to have? Is it going to be loving and honoring? Is it going to be the sacred Trinity, or is it going to be locked up in a bunch of third-party mess? You know, you want to stay away from the third-party mess as much as you can, because the third parties are most of the corruptions. You know, the black web and the underground, you know, bookies and things like that, that's the third parties. When you have to use a third party, that means there's a waste of money, and there's people that aren't being trusted, so the contract in and of itself is not tangible. So be very careful with third parties. You're going to get yourself into things that you don't want to get involved in. So the third parties are over with. If you want to run a good substantial business aligned with 5D, no more third parties. In anything, personal, financial, sexual, whatever it might be. So no more third parties. It's you and Source. And that is the purest alignment. There's no density. Your chakras are aligned. Your soul and your spirit and all that you are has a common goal. This is my business proposal. This is my vocational alignment. I am a representation of the heavens. And nobody sways it. There's not a speck of anything that can get in there. And that's, again, one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I survived. Because when you look at the pole, the pillar of me, there was very few cracks where those entities could get in. Because that's what they look for. They look for a waiver when you waver, right? If you don't know yourself, you're going to waver. So I teach not wavering. No, there are certain laws. It is that simple. You're not going to cross this line. And you have to absolutely say that, because it's been so corrupt. I mean, look at our social systems. 5,000 years of being run the same way by the same people, by the same energy, by the same elites, and they're corrupt. And my family was one of them. My family was one of the Illuminatis. You know, and I'm completely not. You know, that's what a lot of their attacks were, because I would not fall into the way that they've done things. No, those imprints are not mine anymore. They're not my imprints. They're your imprints. They're not mine. And you have to be that. You have to be that precise, because sometimes you got 2 and 3 and 5 and 20 and 50 after you. They want you to run things their way. No, I'm not doing Matrix anymore. No, it's this way. It's God and me. This is my business plan. You don't have to stand before me, right? I'm okay losing you. If it comes between my plan with God and losing you, I'll lose you. Bye. And it does have to be like that. The people that I've come against are all like that, because they'd push you to see how much you're going to sway, how much you're going to give. Are you going to keep giving and not receive anything in return? And there will be those people that absolutely feel entitled. We've talked about that before too. So the expectations, the imprints, and entitlement. Expectations and entitlement are about the same energy. The entitlement is because of the lineage. It's because they've had so much time rotation in the same karmic pattern. They're just entitled. Well, you've said yes 3,000 other times. This time I'm saying no, you're not entitled. And you change the locks on the door. So your financial wellness, your financial health, the business health of your new opportunities for 2026, they have to look like this. There's no wavering. And you can have that in your like, you put it in your heart chakra and your solar plexus, you know, and your sacral. Those are the 3 chakras. And then your voice, your throat chakra for speaking it. No, this is the way it is now. Business is changing. You don't have free flow with my energy. You're not going to come and go. You're not going to come and go out of my house without returning anything and without respecting my space. You have to go through, is my space protected? Is my personal life respected? What part of the brand of you is not being respected? So that was one important lesson that Source taught me, is that you are a brand. You are because Spirit wants everybody to be more successful within themselves with operating in higher vibrational ways with Source energy, right? You want to have a successful business. You want to have a successful offering, and it's meant to be spiritual. It's meant to be loving, because everything is spiritual. It's just an exchange of money. You're a representation of the heavens, and how is it going to operate? Is it going to operate on good fruit, on good bearing, on good seed? You know, is it going to be nourished, and is it going to be fertilized, right? What are you fertilizing it with, right? All of that is energy. So Spirit taught me these things a long time ago, and I used to have some classes on this, but it's good. These are really good key tips, a lot of juice and a lot of sandwich that you can chew on and munch on, because it does matter. It matters how you stand within yourself, and you're presenting that idea. You're presenting that to someone that's going to invest in you. No, I absolutely believe in myself, and this is how and why. You know, these conversations take place with Spirit and I every day. There's no wavering. when I wrote down the protocol for working with higher vibrational beings, this is what it is with higher vibrational beings. They don't negotiate on, if you're going to show up one day and not show up the next. They don't care. It's not to them, right? Because it's your path. You're the one that's going to lose, right? But they're not going to offer their appointment to you again. Why would they? Right? So you have to know, in the infinite number of the what we've called the dodecahedron, in the infinite number of ways that anything can be presented, you're going to have to know and where you stand on it, and just practice it. Because when you practice it, there's no wavering, and there's going to be very few people that will get one over on you. Because for the next 6 months, you will, because there's going to be a shift in abundance. There's going to be a shift in wealth on the collective consciousness. There is, and they know it. The dark knows it. The dark knows they've lost. In that respect, we don't like to say that way, but they refuse to turn over the monies. So they know that they have to turn it over, and there is a deadline. There's no more open windows. There's no more nothing. There's no more negotiating. So the doors have been shut. The vaults have been shut. Everything's been shut on these people. Timelines have been cut. They're not getting any more nourishment for their corruption. So they're being bled. They're being vibrationally bled. They're being monetarily bled. And so in the energy of money and monetary systems, that's what's going on right now. They're being bled. They're being cut off until they absolutely are. And they know they have to transfer the money, and it's going to go back into the right hands, if you will, because we're the ones that have been doing the healing. We're the ones that have been doing, well, we've got better systems, we've got better ways, we've got better opportunities. Why aren't we the ones getting the money, right? So there will be that shifting and that changeover. But we wanted to prepare you to start thinking about these things in higher vibrational ways, because you don't want to come into this with old thoughts, with old expectations, with old entitlements. Those are the things that made the system so corrupt. Again, remember, no more middlemen. You're going straight, straight to the highest guidance, straight to the highest intentions, straight to the highest downloads, because they know your blueprint. They know what you've learned, what you're ready for next, who's got karma that's going to help you, right? You get some of that, those ones that will be sent to you that are there to help you and assist you, right? And so all of those are experiences you can integrate into your business, into your vocational offering. It's going to be so important that you do so, because then those that are helping you find that free help, they're going to keep sending you more. And so there's going to be new systems that we're going to have to get used to. 3D, the matrix, is not going to be anymore. We're going to pick and pull things, yes. There's still going to be 3D systems that are still working really well, and they're not corrupt, and they'll still be fed the income from us that are doing it in higher vibrational ways. But we're meant to start brand new systems from brand new intentions and brand new imprints. Our intentions are much more pure, and there's no swaying with morals and ethics. There's no sway. Because you've done so much work, so many of you, and I know because you're my clients, so many of you have done so much work on clearing out those that have been so harmful in their energies and the contracts they've been playing with you, the karmic contracts, and the things that happen back and forth all the time. And you've said, no, this is the last cycle, there is no more. You've given karma the deadline, right? And that's what we should be doing. And people that own their own business, they do that. They give it 30 days. If there's a 45-day receivable, no, we need to get our receivables down to 30 days, right? It's been traditionally what's been happening is a 30-day receivable. You need to get your circle. What am I offering? What are my boundaries, right? And then communicate them very respectfully and openly, right? Say, no, I'm a new brand now, and this is what I'm going to be offering, and these are the things I'm not going to sway on, and this is why I have the ranking that I do, and I will be lifted. There'll be ways that will be made that have never been made before, because I said to Spirit last night, I'm not going to waver. I'm not going to waver, not an inch. And Spirit does. They go back and they change things. So this is where they say that, yes, the universe does converge around me, because I go to bat, I fight. Like I said, I fight. This is what I do when I'm not on camera. I fight. I'm going to put out my plan, and I'm going to fight. No, I've got this. See my sacred triangle, my sacred trinity? No, it's going to serve the collective, this, and this. I mean, I have so much experience, right? This is why it's easy for me to be like this. No, I'm going to fight for my business. I'm going to fight for my, if I have to sell my, what I had to do is I had to sometimes take a client to my boss, and I say, no, I'm going to fight for this client. This client deserves this and this. The monies that they were going to get for their small business or whatever. And you'd have to make a business, the business plan was done But you had to say, no, this is why this person deserves this. This is why the monies are going to go here. So a lot of what we're going to be doing as investors, we're going to be doing this within the communities. You know, who's been doing the work? Who's actually been doing the work? Who's been sitting down every day and doing the work? You know, are they going to make good on the money that we're going to give them? So a lot of investments and money going back to the people is going to be this way. So be prepared, community. Be prepared, collective. You're not just going to be given a whole bunch of money. No, you've got to prove it. You've got to prove it. Have you been pulling back on your expenses? Have you been making good on the 30-day receivables? If you need to talk to somebody, is it being done in an honoring, loving way? You know, how are you standing up for you as a new brand, right? And this is how you make your brand, right? Because you have integrity. You know that when you say something, it sticks. No, I don't go back and forth. It is this simple, right? And again, there's other people that you can stand in front of. And you can, you know, because there are people you have to say that to. Unfortunately, and not unfortunately, and it's how I've had to learn. I've had, you know, some of the worst people that are just thieves. They live in theft. That's all they do is live in thieving. They'll manipulate anything to get anything. So, you know, that's just been, you know, the people I've had to deal with. But you really do gain a thick skin, and there's not a lot of waver. And so sometimes right now, part of my lessons now is to just be a little bit more compromised and allow a little bit more flow. Because Spirit says, you know, we got a lot coming for you, but are you going to allow it? And I'm just like, well, you know, like last night, I said, there's some things I'm just I will not compromise on. I don't care. I've been through so much. There's just some things I just won't. I'm not compromising, I'm not even an ounce, not even an inch, not a quirk. And so then Spirit has to go back to the table and they work things. So you can have this unified, respectful, this is what Source is all about, right? It's about honoring the respect of who you are gaining, who you are being, and who you're becoming as godly. We want you to prepare to be godly, not minions, not patsies, you know, where you're getting stopped and walked on, and you're not a Matt, you're not a patsy, you're not a complain Corrine. No, you're going to stand up and you're going to be absolutely who you are. You're going to call in your energy. You're going to call in your light. This is my work. I've done my work. Nobody can question me on it. This is why you don't have to spend your energy into showing people and telling people who you are. God will do that. God will lift you because God knows every single time you've crossed the T, you've dotted the T, your little diagrams, no matter how juvenile they might be. No, you've done the work. I've got 10 journals like this back in my locker. This is a daily thing. And then you know somebody that's coming to you is authentic. They've done the work too. Yeah, absolutely want to partner with you. You've done the work. Thank you so much. Finally, I get a partner who's going to do, you know, just as much, you know, grind as I'm going to do for the right things. Because we don't want grind to be a part of our 2026 vocabulary. I really don't like that because you shouldn't be. You should be playing as much as you should be putting your effort in because energy is just your exchange, right? And E equals MC squared. But it's your creative passion. You're going to have more fun with it now, right? You want that to be what you're selling. You want that to be what you're promoting because that's your energy. That's your solar plexus, right? That's the raw energy, you know, RA. That's your raw energy. That's what you want going out to the collective. And then how are you going to build your brand vocation around it? Gratitude and appreciation. That's the number one vibration that has allowed me to be not highly ranked. I gratitude and appreciate with my teams every day. There's not a day that goes by where I don't, you know, spend minutes, 5 or 10 minutes every other hour, 5 or 10 minutes every other hour, gratitude, thank you. And then of course your normal gratitude, if you're getting something from the store, you say, oh, thank you so much, and you just show that gratitude, and if you see a little beautiful flower, oh, thank you, Gaia, give your gratitude back to Gaia for the things that she's allowing you to see and to smell and to sense and to get healed by. All of your gratitude going into your home, those are changing the imprints, right? Changing the imprints. We all know as Divine Feminine, there's lots of energy that we're going to talk about today. So, because we're really promoting Divine Feminine, when you're going into a home and, this has happened to me. I don't know if it's happened to you, but so let me know in the comments. You've been in these situations that have been kind of a challenge, whether it's you're moving into somebody's house and there's other energies that have been there before you, or you've got this new partner and they're moving you into their home, but there's been established energies and there's been established things go back and forth, the remade family 10 times over, and the combining of families 10 times over and the combining of this and this, but there's a lot of energies that you're just like, that's the way things used to be. That's totally not me. I respect where you guys are at, but how willing are you to kind of work together? You have to have these conversations before you move in with somebody, by the way. You don't want to have it as you're moving in saying, okay, well, what was that? You had your brother Bob come in and walk right in my door. There are boundaries that have to be set, but you need these conversations before you move in. But we all know that we've been in situations where we've been in somebody's house and it's like, you can just feel the energy of how things used to be. And you do have to set with spirit, this is going to be my intention coming into this new home, this new space. Can I get the spiritual help? What do I need to do and how do I need to do it? So always ask your teams and your guides that, because there's going to be things that you're going to need to know about energy before you're establishing your new energy. You want it to be respectful, right? And this is again why I've had the ranking that I've had in the spiritual realm, because I honor and respect how to move about new situations and circumstances with energy. You're not going to go in there like with a bull in a china shop. You're not going to go in there, being a patsy and getting walked all over and stepped on and stomped on, and your money's being stolen every second day. You're going to have to make sure that your mastery, right? You're mastering yourself now. And this is, again, what's your protocol? Your protocol for you, your protocol for your business, your protocol for your energy. That all has to be established. And this is what we teach you. We teach you all of these things in my classes. We teach you all of these things in all of my videos, right? Who are you? What do you exist within? What's going on within you? When you have that established, you're going to say, no, that's not right for me. This is right for me, and we can work on this, and we can negotiate this. So there's going to be certain things that you're going to negotiate and certain things that you won't negotiate. And it's just like, children that are going through, paradigms of learning your boundaries. You have to do this with your mates every once in a while as well. No, I'm learning to be more self-loving and self-caring. I have some new boundaries I'd like to talk about. Your sexual practices. Are we fully aware of what's going on? Or do you have concerns about your partner sharing themselves in other ways with other people? You have to talk about these things. There's going to be a non-negotiable, because there's been a lot of people living the polyamorous life. A lot. I remember reading, I think it was about 6 months ago, I read this study in Canada, the number of people that were choosing polyamorous. The number of people that were choosing polyamorous was like up 40% or something like that. So there's going to be a lot of people have to rework how they see relationships, how they feel relationships, because when you become aware of energy, when you become aware of your book value. Your book value is how God sees you. Your book value, it's all you care about. That's your only compass. My book value for my energy, there's a lot of people that will never stand before me ever again. That's my book value. And you have to establish that. And it takes your experience. You have to go through the shitty times. You have to get yourself back up 100,000 times. You have to state no, no, no 1,000,000 times. You have to practice your energy protection. You have to practice clearing and cleansing. You have to practice it like a daily brushing your teeth. You just do. Because you're showing spirit and God, no, I want the heavenly protection. If I'm going to do this every day, if you want me in front of more people, I need spiritual backup. Do you got me? Do you got me if I go in and I say what I need to say and I see what's going on with the collective? Do I have spiritual backup? And God said, yes, thank God. Finally, get going, right? Because you're the only one that's speaking about it. You, out of 1,000,000 people, you're the only one that has the collective's back. So spirit will back you. This is what I said. Jesus said to me a long time ago, you can be against the richest people in the world. You got heaven. There's no comparison. They can be the most richest people in the world. The heavens have got you. That is your compass. That is your pillar. It does not waver. There's no movement. I've got the heavens, period. You either want to learn by me and you want to be mentored by me, or you don't. There's always somebody else you can stand in front of. That's how I do business now. Because I'm not wasting an ounce of my energy on people that are, that aren't even sure about themselves if they care about consciousness. And it's like, okay, well, you can move from my channel, right? I'm okay saying that now. If you're not, I remember when I'm going to different channels and stuff, I'd actually look into them and I'd watch a couple of videos before I'd go, take a class or something. Because I want to know, what is their history? What are they like? Do your own research. Most people don't even do research anymore. Because their soul's progression doesn't mean anything. Their spiritual energy doesn't mean anything. Their book value doesn't mean anything. They don't have a book value. They think their book value might be, okay, this is what I got in the bank right now. No, that's not your book value. That's your matrix value. That's not your book value. Your book value is you and God. What is it? Well, I go to church twice a week. No, that's kind of, but you're still not there. So let's work with this. Because I want to get you to a higher book value. Because your book value is your infinite abundance of source. And if it takes 5 years or 10 years, so be it. Because you're going to come away and you're going to be the only one on the planet that rotates and resonates as you. That's what I know right now. Source is going to bless me a bajillion fold because there's nobody on the planet that resonates like I do. There isn't. That's my book value. Nobody comes close to me as resonance. They just don't. I know it. And it's not a judgment on anybody else. No, I've fucking earned it. I'm the one in the trenches every fucking day. Nobody knows more about the trenches than me. I know it. I live it. You can't waver me. This is why God's gonna get me. God's moving everything. Get her in there. She's got the book value. There's no question. That's why my spiritual help, people in spiritual realm, there's nothing stopping this. And that's like a momentum that nobody can touch. Nobody. It doesn't matter how high rank they think they're in the dark realm. It doesn't matter. God is still the breath of everybody, every deity. God is still the breath of that. God can put the thumb down and the finger down in a second. Boom, it's gone. In a second. The wealthiest people on this planet, God can have one breath like that and these people are down. That's how serious this is. Like there's no way, there's no give and take anymore. There's no sharing matchsticks across the table. Who's got the longest one? No more games. The game's over. Game's over. Windows and doors are closed. There's been a demand to pay. All the people that know they have to hand over their land, their prosperity. There has been demands to pay going out right now, and they're not given a week. They're not given 30 days. The receivables are not 30 days. Receivables are not 7 days. Receivables are 48 hours. Some of them have 24 hours. It is what it is. God's plan will go forward. And who are you? What's your book value? Your book value has to be everything that you have put into you. When you get up, when everybody said you couldn't, when you get up and you read that book that you know you need to read, when you get up and you're doing an extra, 5 or 10 minutes of just feeling gratitude within yourself, of feeling appreciation within yourself, because nobody else will. That's your book value. Because God said you went there when nobody else would. You went to that self-loving place when nobody else gave you an ounce, gave you a blink. When everybody is ignoring you, that's when you hone your book value. That's when you're building your abundance. Make no mistake about it. Your abundance comes when not everybody's standing in front of you. That is not your abundance. That's your return. That's the infinity. That's when the infinity is returning to you. Your book value begins, and every time that somebody says no, every time somebody snuffs you, every time somebody ignores your good ideas, every time somebody puts you down, you're building your book value then. That's when that's when you and God are working together. So don't ever underestimate what the universe tracks. Universe tracks everything. And this is why so many people are being moved out of the way. It does not matter their robe. It does not matter their belt. It does not matter the badges on their jackets. It doesn't. It doesn't. And I'm the only one that has been brought in to face all of these people. There's been no other being brought before these people. No other being. There's not been any man. There's not been any president. Nobody has been brought before these people but me. That's my book value. And there's nobody on this planet. There's nobody that will question it. God, you don't even go into the office and question it with God. You just don't. And what? No, you don't know your ranking. Again, your protocol. We're talking higher spiritual order. We must know this in 5D. And you must start practicing it. Because when you practice it, the heavens say, wow, okay, look at her, wow. Everybody back up, right? I've earned it. No, I'm here to heal. I'm here to bring great advice. I'm here to bring great codes, great light, great energy, great nourishment, great fertilizer. Where do you want me? Where do you want me, God? Where do you want me? Put me in. Put me in the game, coach. This is what I offer. And so God says, okay, let's bring her a team. Let's bring her the best team. The best spiritual team we got. Lower, middle, upper realms. Let's go. Everybody in. 10 toes down. She's got shit to do. And you can negotiate this. I say this, do this once a month with the karma board, right? You're sitting saying, this is what I need, spirit. I need this, this, and this. I need this like tomorrow. I need it yesterday. Why? Because I got this, this, and this going on. I need it. What can we do on this? God is now God's your new business partner. Hand in hand, foot in foot. This is your book value. And don't let anybody in on this. It's not up to anybody. If you want sessions, then I can help you, and you can help build your confidence and build your business savvy. This is your confidence, and this is your connection with God. It's your alignment. This is your new book value. And this relationship you build with God. because he's going to bring you the best spiritual team. Nobody gets by me. Nobody. They think they're doing their little spell work and stuff. Where are they now? Many of them have passed on. Many of them have moved over. Many of them they don't even want to mention my name, because they know if they mention my name, it's more karma. That's how much dirty deeds have been done. That's how much theft and thieving has been done. So again, I know who I am. You want to take your chances to come at me? Come at me. You're going to be facing a demise either way. So whatever it is, whether it's in your pocketbook, whether it's your health, whether it's your family, whatever it is, you choose. Your ancestors will choose for you, actually. You don't even have to choose that. So, we've already told you 100 times. This is higher order. We're not going back to the old way, boys and girls. This is new. So you want to start having that new richness of what that means to you. Because that's an intention, right? That's an imprint. No, this is my imprint now. Can't sway. Right? You ought to set that with yourself. Spirit, I'm going to be working with this 24/7. You're going to be foot in foot with me. Can we build a vocation? Can we build a viable business on my passions, on my creativity, on my psychic gifts? Can we do this? This is really what I want to do. And Spirit says, yeah, let's do this. What's your plan? And then you get out your journals and you start doing your plan. And I can help you with that. Right? So we talked about that. So we want to talk about just clearing those imprints. Right? That's really important, because you don't want to take on anybody else's imprints or energy, because that's sometimes how these people, the manipulators, the really good manipulators that want you to go back, and they want to start getting their way in. If there's even a sliver of an energy they can feel you waver on, they're going to get in there. The leeches and the vampires and the pocket watchers, all of these things, because they live off your energy. So there is, as we've said, there is a bleed. There's a bleed out, right? They're not being fed any more light. And so they're not being fed where they were getting their monies from, because we're going to start pulling the black web. The trafficking rings are going to start being pulled. So that means they're going to make these energy vampires a lot more aggressive. So you're going to have to be 10 toes down. You know, your protocol. No, this is my protocol. We've talked about this. We're not going to be lending out any more money in this, and this. No, I can only do a free session like this. I can only see you once a week, because you haven't shown me that you're actually starting to take on your own energy, and you're starting to do your own work. No, you're still asking for the same favor. That means you're not learning the lesson, right? So again, this is just the collective energies, the people that have been making the money, that have been corrupt, that have been involved in all of the underground stuff. They're being bled out. So know that it's going to get more aggressive with those people that have been karmic in your life. So you're going to have to set new experiences. You're going to have to set new boundaries. You know, these are the boundaries. It's a new financial year, and the financials will be shared through the collective. Just know that. You're going to somehow, some way get some of that. So ask your teams, have these discussions with your teams every week. This is what I need to run my business. Can you send me can you send me some volunteer clients? Can you send me some volunteer people that want to help me do promotions? Whatever it is, you know, start having these conversations with Spirit, and work on your protocol weekly. Have your discussion with your higher self, you know, weekly as far as your protocol, but every single day you're connecting with other people and you're exchanging energy with other people. You have to align with your higher self every connection. This is a non-negotiable. And you're going to learn, right? You're going to learn through your karma you're going to receive, right? You're going to know if you're just running late one day, or you've booked yourself, you know, too thin, and you didn't give yourself enough time to align and to do your breath exercises and do your grounding. And you know that there's going to be energy in the session that shouldn't be there, right? So again, your protocol, you have to say it's a non-negotiable, even if you have to answer the call late. You know, it's a non-negotiable that I do set up with my teams this way. Sorry, I'm a bit late, but I'm here with you. And the energy is cleared, the energy is refined, you're one with your teams. You know, again, your protocol. And then people will have that trust in you and their faith in you. You're going to be the only one they come to for protocol. You're going to be the only one they come to learn about higher spiritual order. Because we're going to have new ways of systems of law and order on the planet. It's going to be more and more refined as we go. But there will be those of us that will be called on in those highest experiences, where we are going to be called on country to country, continent to continent, on very big things. And we're going to be the ones that are going to be called, because we have direct access to source. No, this is where Gaia sits with her energy. This is where the collective sits on the intention with her energy. And this is from the heavens. I mean, it is as simple. It doesn't have to be negotiated between 800 other people that are involved in it. That's the old way. You're going to have to find a new way to work. These 800 people are going to have to find another third-party way to do their business. No, third parties weren't needed. It's going to be more refined, and there's going to be those of us that will be sent in. God will send me in. And again, it's not most of the time it's not fun, but I've earned this level of expertise in complexity. You can't just send somebody in because they're going to go back to the old ways and they're going to allow the 800 people to keep doing third party, and meanwhile the money's not getting back to the people. The energy's not getting back to Gaia. No. We're going to work. This is how we're going to do it from now on. So let's start working. We're going to start moving forward. There's no thinking back and forth. No, this is the new momentum. You can go and think about it, but we're not changing. This is the new momentum. And, as I've been saying in my videos. In my videos, I show you, I give you what we're doing in energy. This isn't mock. I'm not superfluous. This is a new way. You either get on or you don't. I don't care if you do or not. It's not my place. I don't care. These are the ways that it is now. Right? There's no middlemen. So how are we going to do business now? Well, let's start with being spiritual. This is a spiritual journey. We're going to align in unity and oneness. We're going to align in unity consciousness, and the monies will be shared appropriately. Based on, again, who's doing the work? Who's showing up when you need someone to show up? Like, again, my clients. My clients are going to get blessed because they are the ones that show up to the classes. They are the ones that give. They're the ones that help. They're the ones that are always there. They're always loyal. I never ask them. I have no expectations on my clients at all. No, not a drop. Not a drop. Never had, and this is the beautiful relationship. That's the relationship God wants. No expectations at any level. And yet they will be blessed because that's just their good return. They're putting in the effort. They're putting in the mana. They want to be fed that mana. They want to be nourished. They're nourishing. They want to be nourished. They're going to get it. As opposed to saying, oh, our family's been doing this forever, and this is what we do. And, we run corrupt, and I know Bill over there, he's got that, and Joe over there has got their hands in that. And this is the third party, right? No, we're just going to go over here for a favor. We're going to do that over there for the favor. We're going to go over there for this. We're going to come back to this. They're going to drop this over to me to this. No. Because you're all sleeping with each other. That's not okay. You can't share your money like that. No. Because you know what that is. Those are just the Masonic, you give me 10, I'll give you 20. Next week I'll take 50, and that's your businesses are corrupt. And everybody's feeding everybody. It's this underground satanic global organized group. They're all feeding everybody. You'll be surprised at how big this is. You're going to be so surprised how big this is. Once these big rings of corruption get pulled, and how big the satanic rings are, you're going to be mind boggled how big these rings are. And you're going to be mind boggled the ones in your own house that are in them. Make no mistake. So you're the one that has to, as I said, you're the one that's going to have to come with higher appreciation of value for your book value, your oneness with Source Creator. How are you moving forward with your vocational alignment? Who are you in it? Practice it. I have tried and true ways of practicing higher order. You cannot move forward in 2026 without practicing and living higher order. And it has to be in your protocol, first and foremost. So if you want to know about that, and you want to learn about that, and you want to start moving in this way, that is you standing in substantiation of you. And nobody's going to sway you. You can have 150 people swearing their heads off at you, and God will move them out of the way because you hold higher ranking. Your book value is simply more. Because these changes need to happen. They need and they will. This is the Divine Father's plan. There's no going back and forth. There's certain things that God will allow and you go back and forth, and there's certain things God will let happen just to let the energy weed itself out and, kind of, the spinning top, just let it just keep going like this. They're just going to run themselves out. And that's what God has done. And to also prove to the collective, you can keep doing all you keep doing, but it's going to end up in the most devastating outcome. And some people need to see that. There's a lot of people, because they've been so corrupted, because it's been for so long, some of these people absolutely need to have the worst case scenario. And they will manifest it for themselves. And they're going to manifest it as a story to show the rest of the collective. Because no, you don't get to play these games anymore. These have been the most horrible, horrible, tormenting games. If you even knew a portion of it, it would make you sick to your stomach on what's been allowed. I see it. I see what goes on. I feel it. I'm in it. It would make you sick to what people do and allow. The plotting and the planning on making one person's life, this goes on in every community, the plotting and the planning that goes on to make one person's life hell, and to rip this person apart, and to rip this person to shreds mentally, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, and sexually. They plot and plan this on one person, and they will rip them apart. And then they will swarm them for their energy, they will swarm them for their lineage, they will swarm them for their energy, for their inheritance, whatever it might be. And then it's shared between the community of the third parties. The funeral home, the insurance people, the banker, the police, everybody is involved. These are true and real things. And you'll be mind-boggled. There is a change of hands on all monies, on the biggest and most corrupt people that have been the most abusive, that have been the most misogynistic, and there is a change of hands. And you'll see some people at the highest, they'll slowly slip out and you'll hardly know they're gone. There'll be those that will dig their feet in and they will still maintain their control and their corruptiveness of their egoism and their arrogance because they have so much involved in the underground, and they will be the ones putting up the biggest fight because they're standing to lose the most. It does not matter. They're still going down. And it's up to Source to then pull in those of us that are responsible to have the certain amount of money's going back to the collective, and how we're going to start building new organizations and new nonprofit and things like that. Because we've had the experience, right? And you have to keep showing Source, no, I'm going to fight for this. What can I get from the spiritual realm? How much support can I get from the spiritual realm on this one thing? I'm really passionate about this. I'm not going to back down. And Spirit wants to see that from you, right? And it has nothing to do with you, right? Like, I've come in on a few things and I've said, no, this has nothing to do with me, because I don't care if I ever get mentioned. I don't care. What I do care about is this and this. And Spirit knows that. Spirit says, okay, the spiritual realm's got you. And then there's other things, like I said in my video a couple of videos ago, no, I want my recognition for this. That's bullshit. No, you're not creating 10 AI pages to say the same thing I said yesterday or 10 years ago. Go to my videos. No, this isn't new stuff. I've been talking about this for 10 years. Go look at my videos. And then you create 10 AI pages and you get paid 3,000 streams. That's not okay. I'm going to stand up for it. It's corrupt. I want my views. And I'll take YouTube to court if I have to. Because illegal business is illegal business. Your streams are your streams. I don't know how many people that I've come across and they've sent me messages. This is what's been happening on my account. This is what's been going on with yours. I said, well, yeah, you can tell. I blatantly show it. I screenshot everything that goes on my views. I mean, there's blatant suppression and there's blatant manipulation on every level. And how many accounts are like that? I'm just one of how many, right? I'm just more of the well-known one because I'm also, one of the voices in the collective for leadership. And it does matter. What I say matters. And that's where you have to go back to your protocol, right? If you have a good protocol and a good foundation, everything else builds around that. Everything builds around that. Because that's who you are as the heavens, right? That is your new heavenly manna. And again, that's why I can say I outrobe most of the beings on the planet as far as their ranking with Source. I can say that. And Source says because I've earned it. Source just said that. So they're just saying right now that I can stand with any of these people that think they're ranked on the planet. And I can come up with a better system. I can come up with better ways and higher ways. My third eye is being activated right now. So this is a powerful download. And this is what Source wants you to get you. Source wants you to get to the point where you're standing in your godliness. And it doesn't matter who you're standing in front of, because most of these people have not been renewed in their new spirit with Source. They've not been renewed. They're still running off old imprints. That's where their energy is, old imprints, old beliefs, old traditions, old dogma, and it's corrupt. They're not renewed. They're not renewing in evolutionary ways. They're not renewing their soul. They're not renewing their chakra. They don't know anything about the multidimensional light. They don't care because they still want to see God and Source as only one thing. That's fine. They're not being renewed. Their jobs won't be renewed. I guarantee you. So they just said, I've hit the nail on the head. 2026, that's a prediction. You're starting to see it. They're saying that they're starting to see it right now. There's positions that will not be renewed for many of these people because they're refusing to renew themselves with Source. They're refusing to see themselves as multidimensional 5D unity consciousness. They still want to live within separation. They want to live within themselves. I'm the pastor, I'm the priest, everybody else below me. They will not be renewed. Doesn't matter how highfalutin they think they are in their church. Doesn't matter. That's not how unity consciousness, that's not how God works. So Spirit says I'm going to have some conversations with people this year. Great. Throw me in there. I said to Spirit, why do you always have to put me in the most toughest, difficult things? He says, because that's what you're built for. There's nobody that can do what I do. And I said, but can you just give me one? Can we just do something easy? Like one easy thing? Why does every day have to be the most challenging, darkest things on the planet? You know? They're saying they're going to throw me some breadcrumbs every once in a while. You'll have your easy days. Does anybody have any questions about what we've talked about? Is it imprints, appreciation, and gratitude? Because that's just your constant flow. E equals MC squared with Source Creator, with creational reality. And your protocol is so important. Your protocol. You should be doing your protocol first before you do your business outline. Your protocol, then your business outline. And you're getting rid of all middlemen. Right? God's it. God is your middleman. God will bring you your spirit guides that will help you with free whatever, right? Because God knows who owes you karma, right? God knows what you got coming to you, and God knows what karma is coming to you or them, right? And ask for it. No, I want to call in the people that owe me karma. I've said that I don't know how many times this year. Like, when are these people going to start paying back karma? So that's why now there is a demand of pay. There's no more windows. 24 to 48 hours, a demand to pay. And then, you know, of course, there's going to be legions that are protecting me because of all the pocket watchers and people that still think they have entitlement and access. Again, you go back to your protocol. No, you've been told no. If I have to call the police, I'll call the police. And that's not our relationship anymore. I've stated it 800 times. You have to stand by it. Those are the new energies and imprints you're putting into your home. No, because my energy is everything. My book value is everything with Source. I'm not turning any page. I'm not signing nothing. I only sign things with God, that's it. Nobody else gets my signature. That's how come I know anything that's in the collective. Anybody that's putting my name on anything, I absolutely know, and that's why God will back me up. I got legions backing me up. God said there's rock solid evidence on everything. Why? Because of my protocol. The spiritual realm knows it, the physical realm knows it. No, we're going to move mountains, watch us. And everybody's going down. Doesn't matter what affiliated business, doesn't matter who they are, doesn't matter who they're connected with, doesn't matter how many bars they got on their suit. It does not matter. And that's where the old days have changed. Going into 2026, these energies will not be coming in with us. So you have to know your ground and then live in it. And again, you do not offer it in ego. You do not offer it in ego. No, you offer it in spiritual order. There's a difference. So do your circle, and then above your circle, put in 2 lines, right? The infinity. Spiritual order or ego. Do your infinity. Negative on one side, positive on the other. What is it? It's ego or your spiritual order. And then you have to alchemize. If something's coming to you in ego, you have to go higher spiritual order. I've had people come to me all the time. I've had clients come to me. Well, if they're coming at me like this, what do I do? Put the infinity. If they're coming at you like this, you have to come in more of this. You have to stand more in your spiritual order. because it's on the positive side of the infinity. So this is how you do every transaction, right? You have to know what people are coming at you and what they're facing. That's why you have to stand neutral. Stand neutral, allow source energy to flow, so you're alchemizing the energy, and then you ask your teams, your higher order, and then your teams are going to give you downloads on how to proceed. That's how we're operating from here on out. You're not doing what you used to do. No, we're going to neutralize, we're going to go to a higher order, and then you're going to come with higher order. And that's how you build a positive 5D reality. You're not going to keep slipping backwards. You might pull in some compromise, you know, but it's not going to be the way it was. It is new. Right? And state that, because that's your appreciation of you. You're valuing you now. You're appreciating your gratitude. Oh my God, everything I've been through. Thank God I went through what I went through, right? There's no way I'd be able to handle these bullies that are coming at me. Now, they can bully all they want, you know. God, the legions behind me, are you kidding me? There's one spirit guide, one spirit guide and one of our ancestors. They can put a dream on somebody that has been bullying you. They can put a dream on somebody. This is someone, I know these things. You don't have to know these things. I'm telling you. This is why I know what I know. One of your teams and one of your guides and one of your ancestors can put one dream on one person and shift their whole alchemic reality and give them one ego death. This is why you have spirit work for you. This is why you work with spirit, your alliance with light. That's the name of my 4th book. So you don't have to worry about what they're going to bully you next. No, just tell spirit, I'm going to surrender this to you. There's no revenge, there's no blah, blah, there's no manipulation, there's no nothing. You never ever have to use your magic skills. Never. Just say, okay, spirit, here you go. This is the problem I have. Here you go. What are you going to do with it? Because I need this, this, and this, because of this, this, and this. That's how you do business now. You do business with spirit. This is what I need. This is what I got going on. Here you go. And let God deal with it. This is why Jesus said, it doesn't matter. These people coming at you, it doesn't matter. We've got legions. The legions are coming in, they're wrapping themselves around you. They're not going to touch you. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I keep alchemizing, I keep alchemizing. I keep bringing higher order, I keep bringing higher order, I keep bringing higher order. And then the legions and the spirit take care of it. Another example, the legions and the spirit can send one person that has been doing a lot of bad business. They can send one person, they can send a whole legion of energies and ancestors to start disrupting and breaking the ground of that one person's bad business. One good client, one this, one that, one this, one that. The house can have a sinkhole underneath it. The tires can come off on their car. All their computers blow up. They have a virus in their computer systems, whatever it is. That's one set of legions on one person. So when I say the black web's coming down, when I say trafficking is coming down and all the children will be liberated and healed, these are my intentions, and the spiritual realm will back me. I know how the spiritual realm works, and they know how I work. So again, you want to force your way in my field. You want to keep testing me, and you want to keep pocket watching me. You want to keep throwing your magic and your hate at me. It's going to come with a consequence, and it's up to you whether you're going to test it. Because I don't got to keep staying awake. I don't got to keep wasting my breath, and that's at the point right now. Because this has been a breath wasting. Go back to my videos for 4 years now. I've been saying the same thing. And God said, no more. Everybody has 48 hours. It is that serious. So all these people that are playing in their little cults and covens and their little groups of their satanic things, and they're going to do a bit more rituals, and they're going to get paid $50 here. No, things are coming down. The legions are on your ass. And things are going to start coming apart one by one, by one by one. You're not going to get your mail. You're not going to get your bills. Your bank account's going to be frozen. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And the legions are on it. And nobody has a say, because everybody has been told for years and years and years and years, do unto others. Corrupt business is not a way to do unto others. No. It's not a way of business anymore. Hello, everybody in the chat room. Yeah. So just know these are the new things that are coming. I've just given you lots of predictions this class. Lots of good information. Listen to it again. If you want a vocational alignment session, book one for me, because these vocational alignment sessions are going to be really important if you want to share the resources that are coming back to the collective. This is the perfect time for those of you that have been awakening and on ascension for a long time. You've been working on your gift, skills, and talents for a long time. You've been putting your energy back into the collective for a long time. I'm giving you a heads up. I'm the first one to talk about it. This is a good time for you to get a vocational alignment and a business plan. and start getting yourself networking in the community. Start working with Source Creator and your teams about, the people that can help you and assist you in building your brand, because you are a brand, you're a representation of the heavens. How are you representing yourself? And the help that you're going to need financially, right? And you want to start downsizing, simplifying, not having too much of a complex life as far as money and energy goes, because you want to just know that money is energy. And how are you expending it? Do you have a lot of confusing chaos things in your life? And you can start, pulling those things out and back, and really start refining your energy and what you're focusing your energy on, because that's what Source really wants to see. Because there is a lot that we're going to be focusing our attention on back to the collective, right? Back to Gaia, back to the collective, back to nature, and we're going to start reliving that back to Source, that recombining back to Source. Because guess what? The more that we do that, the more that we recombine back to Source. You guys doing good this morning? I've had a lot to talk about. Sorry. We'll go to our coffee in just a second here. Because the more that you do, hi everybody. Thank you, Cluda. And that person will never get the last 5 seconds back of their life. I mean, seriously, these people get paid to be like that. They're never going to get that time back, and they're not going to be coming back into another body. Because when you do, when all of that energy comes back and you're moving into the arena of the energy that you're putting into the home, into the food, into your body, into your health, and all of those things is just going to come back to you, and it's going to activate your DNA. It's going to activate your ancestral gifts. You're going to put more back into your brand. You're going to put back into it. Everybody knows that when people stand before us and they know the energy that's gone back into somebody that truly loves what they do, right? That's what Source says, that my channel will be known for, certain things, because the energy and the integrity is there. I want the best for all of you, right? And that energy is felt, right? That's how you want that appreciation and gratitude. And gratitude and appreciation, you put the energy and you put all of that wonderful passion and love and energy back, and that's how your E equals MC squared, right? So it's all quantum. So just know that. But again, there are certain things that we're going to have to think of as 5D, it's not 3D. So one is your protocol. Your protocol is everything to building these new foundations. It's everything to your garden. And then your business, your vocational alignment, your vocational plan. And your vocational plan has different branches, right? So just know that. And I can help you work on that. It's not 3D. So just know that. Again, I do have a lot of financial background. I have about 13 to 14 years of financial background. So I do know that side of it. And then you just go to your specific investors for those ones that you have to be a certified, right? I don't do stocks or anything because I'm not certified. I lost my certificate just because I found it boring. I didn't want to continue my career in investments. So that's when I started doing my other business, So I have a lot of experience helping people with their business accounts. I used to be a commercial administrator, helping people with their finances and sorting their businesses out, the things that were kind of wasting money and how to refine their business and things like that. And so, does anybody have any questions? Any questions you want about the gratitude and appreciation equals MC squared, your protocol, right? Your 5D business plan. And remember, no middlemen, because you want to be a part of the ones that Source will direct me and direct others that will be responsible for sharing the money back to the collective in different, unique 5D ways. We're not just going to be handing money out. We're going to be doing things in 5D ways. That's what Source really wants us to learn, is the different ways that money and energy and the exchange of energy, because we have to know that in higher realms, they don't use monetary systems, right? So that's slowly what we're getting to. So we have to already start thinking that way. And Bitcoin is a little bit, it's getting us towards that, but their intention for Bitcoin was the control of information. And so that will meet its own demise, because again, what you do, why you do, and how you do it will determine the ending and the outcome. So if it's done with intention to control information, then there will be a demise. There will not be a substantial foundation where it's going to be long-lasting. So again, certain parts of Bitcoin, by those that have been running certain Bitcoin energies, they will meet their own demise, because it's not going to stand up in 5D light, right? It has to stand up to 5D. It has to meet the 5D requirements. If it doesn't, you're done. That's why there is a demand of pay. They're not meeting the requirements. Their light and their integrity is not there. Source and the legions are moving forward with the divine plan. If you do not meet the 5D requirements, you're not staying. We're moving forward at the end of the year now. 2026 is going to start off with great momentum. And it's because of us that have been moving things forward and not compromising and not wavering. No, the behavior has been abhorrent. There's no need for it. These are not human rights on any level. The Constitution, universal rights have not been met on any level. There's been no jurisdiction on any level for the people. I take that very seriously. Because when you look at the longevity of it, you look at the number of children that have been in trafficking, and where is their destiny in the next 10 or 12 years? With what they've started with. No healing, no education, no intelligence, no nothing. Where is that going to end you? Entropy. Entropy. More and more homelessness, because these children will be absolutely ripped apart psychologically, mentally, emotionally, and physically. There's so much that's not being faced. There has to be immediate protocol now. I've been talking about this for years. These people are getting pulled. The black web is getting pulled like the zit that it is. And the legions are working behind the scenes. Watch it. Watch it, watch it, watch it. And those that are direct related, that have their import-export businesses, they're going to slowly walk out the back door. Or they're going to throw their papers up in the air and run out. Because they're cowards. They're not going to stay around and try and correct their protocol with their soul's progression. That would be the smart thing to do. You know, they tout that they're all noble and they tout that they're all righteous and stuff. Yeah, are you going to stick around and help fix it? Are you going to be accountable for your part of it? No, they're going to slip out the back door so that nobody knows that they're a part of it. And they're going to let everybody else pick up the pieces and pick up the mess. Okay, so basically you're a coward. Okay, bye. The sooner you get out the door, the sooner I can start fixing things. Yeah, and I'm the one sleeping on the streets. That's real fair. So spirit, yeah, there's no negotiation anymore. These are in the highest oval meetings. So 2026 is not going to be 2026 is not the arena where egos are going to be playing a game. No, it's either for the benevolence of the Divine Father's plan, or, you know, you will be stepped aside intentionally, or, you know, through your own manifestation. And God will ensure that it hurries up. Like I said, you know, one of their teams and one of their guides can give them a dream, can give them, you know, a health scare. Your teams and your ancestors can inspire anything to move you in the way that you need to be moved. So make no mistake who's really in control here. This isn't your game. And they're learning it. Everybody's learning it. They have to. That's how arrogant the game has been. We also have to understand too, though I've talked about this, some, not all, some of those people that have been to the very nth degree is because they've allowed their vessel to be so run down by entity attachments and demonic energies. They're actually living as the demon. They're living as the entity because they have no spiritual light left. They have no spiritual connection to source left. Once that last spiritual thread is cut, that spirit will not protect them. Spirit will not, there's nothing spirit can do because they've chosen to not be in alliance with light. That's what they've chosen for their soul's record. Spirit will give them as many opportunities as possible, but once that final ounce of light has been chosen by them, that they choose not to work with source, then there's nothing source can do, and that's when Lucifer and Satan are sent in to collect that soul. And there is Again, because there's no 3D timeline, they're not able to come back in a body. These are the truths of your soul's progression. So the people that are working in cults and covens, satanic, ritualistic, all of those things, this is how the soul progression goes. And they think they're going to have an infinite timeline to play out their satanic games. There isn't. You will be forever in the dark realm. You will be forever in the mud realm. You're not there's no body. You're not going to manifest a body, right? You're going to keep going to the lower, darker universe, and you're going to keep having those lower sheaths being pulled and be pulled and be pulled. The bodies will be forever darker, which means there's going to be shorter lifespan because they're going to be born with disease, and they're just going to keep rotating in the lower vibrational universe, the lowest of the lowest. And then this realm is going to keep going up because it's eternal life. This is why, this is why the plan of the Father are bringing certain people together, because the energies that we have, and we're going to start creating something new, new worlds, new Earth star, new templates, new galaxies, new universes, because the new universes don't even want to be touched by any of those old energies. They're done. That universe is going to be an entropy universe, and it's going to be all Epstein type of energies, because there's other 3D planets, if you will, that are also weeding out, that are also going into ascension of the multiverse, right? We're not the only 3D planet in the multiverse, right? The 3D planets of the multiverse are going to collect the highest energies, rotate into however source discerns, right? Wherever they're at with their gifts, skills, and talents. Their consciousness, it's all about consciousness. So 2026 is going to be about a few core things. We're going to be learning about the exchange of energy, right? E equals MC squared, new investments and new protocols to align with, which is your foundation of who are you. The protocol is everything. And then around that, you can build your vocational alignment. Right? Then around that, you're going to learn about new ways of financially that you're going to have source and your guides and your teams help you out, to help you with who owes you karma and all those things that you can have help with to run your business, to operate your business, and to help you out so you're not having to expend much. And then also the monies that are coming back to the collective, those that have been doing the work, those that source will guide us to, and those guide to us, and those, and so forth and so forth, for the investments of going back and forth, so that we can make sure that those people that have been doing the work that are ready, source will only dictate when you're ready, because you're doing the work, right? You're aligning with your teams, and your teams are testing you, your teams are initiating you, and then source says, okay, this person's ready. They're going to be ready in this medical area, they're going to be in that educational area. These are the new Earth systems. So we're now starting to understand that this is why we've been talking about what we've been talking about for so very long. And people have thought, no, that's just airy-fairy, there's nothing going to come of this. Yeah, it is. We're actually rolling it out right now. So 2026 is right around the corner. I'm the momentum. I'm the energy builder. I know what's coming. This is Divine Father's plan. And what part have you been a part of? Because everybody's going to have to be accountable. Where's your blueprint? What have you been a part of? Oh, I've been doing this, and this. Great. Then start marking it down. Start showing source. Start showing the universe. I've been involved in this, I've been involved in that, I've been looking into this, I've been taking a class in this, I've been starting meditating. That's what Source wants to see, because it's your soul. It's not for Source. As I said, 2 classes ago, it's not Source that needs this. It's nothing to do with Source. Source is just saying, there are certain things you do need to initiate yourself within. Are you understanding the collective protocol, how to work with higher vibrational beings? You're going to be meeting them. Do you have an equal respect? If you don't respect women, you're not going to meet your celestials. You're just not. Your celestials are androgynous, completely balanced in divine feminine mass. How are you going to be cohesively working with an androgynous being when you have no respect for women, and you go out and attack them and you try and kill them? How's that going to work? There's zero evolution. You're not going to move forward. Again, you're going to move off to Epstein universe, and that Epstein universe will be entropy. That can be the only way. There might be the odd one that comes out because it's worked so hard to get itself out of that. But, you've chosen it. If you choose day by day and hour by hour to not include light into your experience, and you're continually living in envy, jealousy, gluttony, greed, selfishness, self-glorification, all of these things, if you live in these energies, there is only one consequence. It's not rocket science anymore, people. And it's been go back to our videos. We're preparing humanity. So now that the gates are opening and closing, people can't be surprised. I mean, my one life story has given context in every avenue of humanity. There's nothing I haven't not talked about. And there's nothing that we have not offered. We've offered every perspective: financial, familial, lineage, ancestral, political. We've offered it all. It's not a surprise. So it's up to everybody right now, before the end of the year, truly sort out how important is your soul's evolution, and where do you want to be on the bandwidth of the dimension? What bandwidth do you choose to be on? What intention of appreciation of a glorious gift that Source offers everyone every breath? Because these are gifts from Source. Not everybody gets offered eternal life. Not everybody gets offered the best masters in the universe to work with. And this is what the heavens sometimes are like, what? These people are being offered a master, and they're treating this master like they're dirt. They're living in the street. Do they understand what's really going on? And they will have their ego death, and they will wake up and say, oh my God, what the hell have I been doing? Because they've been in black magic fog and voodoo, and they've allowed people to put root work on them, and all of these things that have been done in the family. It's what we do. Yeah, you might want to start questioning it, because you're either going to go to Epstein Universe, and it's going to be an entropy, however long that takes, but you're not going to have any contact with any of us. Because you've wanted it. You've wanted the separation. Now you've got ultimate separation. Now you're going to be in complete darkness. And you will not manifest a body. You cannot manifest a body if you have no light moving out. If you leave this planet and you have no light, you cannot come back in light. You just can't. You haven't earned it. Your consciousness has not earned it. Consciousness is your equivalence of light in who you are as Source. In the dodecahedron. I am that I am. Are you? Or are you only I that I am with a top 5% elite white male misogynist? You're not I that I am. You're not. Your robe says nothing about you. Your bars say nothing about you. You're not I am that I am. I'll call you on it. And it has been a historical first. This is a historical first. And however God lifts me in that, I'm fine with it. Fine. Have other people tell the story. I don't care. But there are things that matter to me, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I will pierce it with my crystalline light, and I will, that ring will come down. I've proven it. The rings are down. These criminal rings are down. It matters. It matters how you play. You enforce your way into my life, you better bet I'm going to pull everything about that ring. I will pull every thread of it. And I will show them the visions, I will talk about the visions, and I will talk about what's been going on. I will talk about what I see moving back and forth between the hands. Do you want me to tell you what I see right now? This is a sad story, but do you want me to tell you what I see? Say yes or no in the comments. These are to those that are not heeding the voice of Spirit, and they're still going to continue to run their corruption through churches, through affiliated businesses. This is what they do. They're showing me right now 2 men that are shaking hands and transferring money while they're looking down on a Sunday school, rooms where, in the Sunday school where you would listen to the sermon and then you would go back to the art room and then the children would do art while the parents would, have their treat time, and the children would go back and do their art. And there used to be the papal, there used to be the papal windows where you look down and you see the various rooms of the church. Well, there's these 2 men passing money back and forth, and the men would be looking down on the art room of where the children were in their Sunday school after the service, and they would do their artwork waiting for their parents. That's what we used to do in Sunday school. And they would be, the men are making a deal. The men are making a deal looking at the children in the Sunday school art room. They're making plans for the children of the church. This is part of the human hunger program. Is where it's just a machine of humans being rotated to serve the elites, to serve the ones running the programs. Whether it's an organ harvesting, whether it's harvesting your light, harvesting your energy, whether it's a trafficking ring. These churches are being used as places to start studying and depicting and pulling out those that they want in trafficking or in different parts of the business. They're not used as churches anymore. They're used as luring rings. That's what I see. That's a real transaction happening right now in North America. So what part are you going to play? There's somebody saying they wish I wasn't a prophet. Yeah, because I've upset your apple cart, but your apple cart also destroyed 10 or 15 lives that you had no right touching. And my spiritual ranking outranks you, and I'll bring you down. So it doesn't matter what you think I am or hope I am. I am that I am. And it can be that simple, and now you're in spiritual court, and you will be read your rights, because you will be charged. Trafficking and lewd behavior. Because the children will start calling you on it. The children are waking up every hour. And so are there the ones that are divinely aligned within their heart center, and are they doing the equal work that's needed and required for us to begin setting up new foundations of teaching and education and medicine that are going to be collaboratively benevolent, not corrupt, but benevolent. There's going to be no more restrictions on hospitals and healing temples. These places will be the highest of concern, along with education and those of the first aid services, fire, police, and paramedics. They will all be a part of the new order, and the profits will be shared equally, all those doing the good works, and those that are corrupt will be weeded out. They will manifest their own way out. They won't be a part of the profit sharing. So these are the new ways. And it is that simple. Because every tick and balance is checked in the universal ledgers. Every time you've taken, every time you've stolen, every time you've misappropriated, every single action and deed, it's all accounted for. When you didn't hold someone up when you could have, when you blew someone down when you shouldn't have, when you didn't repay when you should have, and you've allowed somebody to sleep in the streets 3 years longer than they should have, or 10 years longer. Everything is accounted for, and nobody will walk free. And so therefore, again, you are a representation of the heavens. How may you choose to move? Absolutely 100% in appreciation. Thank you, God. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Because the Holy Spirit is holding you up. As I said in my last video, the Holy Spirit will be your legs and your arms. Make no mistake about it. That's truth. And so, dear lighted ones, let's do, if anybody wants a message from their teams or their guides, or from the heavens, just close your eyes and center your energy. Call all your energy back to your heart space. And then again, watch this video a few times, slow it down, and then write down the notes for your protocol, business ideas, tips and hints that I've given. Again, on the intention of your home and the imprints, you want to change that up as well. That's always good to do weekly. We're going to coach the collective. We're going to call on Archangel Michael for the protection of this energy. Please, Holy Spirit, thank you. Is there any energy or information that anybody would like to know in their vocational experiences? Thank you. I'm seeing all the Celestials come forward. Celestials are more and more in our everyday life, so I'm really loving that. I love the Celestials. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them so much. Thank you. They're poking me on the arm right now. They're tapping me on the shoulder with their long fingers, their long ET fingers. Right there. Do you see them in the background? You see all the kind of fuzziness up here in my energy. Any questions that any of you have, just telepathically send it to me. So somebody's asking me about protocol. Protocol is all within your higher self. and aligning your Divine Soul's blueprint. So if you've been working with Ascension for a while, your Divine Soul's blueprint, your protocol will be always driven from universal laws, first of all. Your connection with your higher self, first of all. What, in what way are you going about life and every day using your energy honorably, with intelligence, understanding your multidimensional bodies. So that's where the soul's blueprint comes in. You know, in knowing that you are a multidimensional being, that you're radiating energy in every moment. How are you using your energy? How are you clearing and cleansing it and maintaining it, and so on and so forth. Because everything that you do from here on out will be magnified within the omnipresent rarity of the fields that are being amplified in every moment. And this is the Divine Father's plan, right? So you have to be very aware of your multidimensional bodies as a part of your protocol. You have to be aware of that, right? We're not going to sit in the same 3D energies. No, every day is being refined. And this is why we have to make sure the leaders, if the people are not aware and the people are not being educated, you absolutely know there's going to be things happen that you're being put behind the 8 ball on every level. And the leadership will be held liable because they've been withholding teachings that the collective needs. If they're not getting the right mental and emotional and spiritual help they can to understand what's going on, so that they don't have to go on drugs that will upset them and totally make them go off the handle. It's not needed. All of these things are not needed. And some of the events that will be happening, because people are so stressed, because people have been left to the nth hour, because these experiences have been left to the nth hour, there's going to be a lot of things that the collective leaders will be held liable for, because they've been told for 3 years. You need light, wisdom, intelligence being taught immediately. People are not understanding what's going on. They're not working with their bodies. They're not understanding their bodies. They're not understanding what happens when you have a dark night of the soul. They're not understanding how to honor that, how to work with it. And you have people that are already on the edge. And then on top of that, you have people that are the percentage of the collective that are involved in dark magic, dark occultism, voodooism, satanic. All of these have a factor. If people are not healing their lineage and their familial wounds, their dogmatic wounds, their social wounds, if they're not being healed, these triggers are not being healed, you're just compounding. And it's, we've been telling people, you know, you're just putting yourself behind the 8 ball and you don't need to. You're putting the people in stress where they don't need to be. You're putting people in harm's way. You're inciting harm on the collective when you're not informing them. You're not giving them the teaching they need, especially at this time. We're moving through ascension. It's kind of important. You need to kind of know alchemy, right? 51% of your karma is a lot. How are you going to alchemize it? What's alchemy? Okay, well, let's go back to the beginning, right? It's not being taught. There's not a directive. They're suppressing people like myself. And so you're held liable for every life that you inhibit. These leaders must know that. Their soul's record and their soul's progression and how they're marked on their karma, they're held responsible for every soul and every life that they're impeding and inhibiting, and that includes Gaza, the damages that have been done there with intention. They're held liable for every life. Nobody's walking forward. Nobody is going, you have to redeem your own soul, period. Nobody gets a bypass. And this is higher spiritual order. The higher spiritual courts have spoken. I'm going to speak on it. You can call me out to whatever office you want around the world, and I will speak on what's going down. You can put whatever papers you want in front of me, and I'll tell you how much of it is crap. I'll tell you what's going on in each office. That's my job. I'm a conduit for the Source Creator. You put me in any situation, and I will say what's broken, what needs to be fixed, and who are the corrupt ones. And then, you know, what are you going to do about it? What's your protocol? Right? Again, you have to have new standards. Who's going to come in your house, and what energy they're going to come with? If you know they got crappy energy coming in your house, don't let them in. Say, no, we're going to have to part ways. I don't want to clear my house every time you come in and out of it because you're doing black magic. Not doing it. We're not going to sit together. So we're going to say this just to close this off. There's still those, not sure why, but again, they're being run by their negative energies. Those that have been having, you know, infinite life experiences in their black magic and still working with the black occults and the dark occults, and they still think that they have access to me. They still think that they're going to get together with me and we're going to work things out and we're going to do this. We're not. Those people from Calgary, You all know what you stole. You all know what you've been doing for years and years and years. You've all known the plots and the plans and the infinite money changing hands. You've known the root work that you're trying to do and all of these things you've been trying to do. The things that you've already done a million times over. So many different things that have been done to me. 2,000 curses and hexes and sacrifices, yin yang, being sold back and forth. You can't even count the things that have been done. We're never going to get together. We're never going to sit together in the same room and be pals. We're not going to be friends. We're not going to make up and pretend this never happened. No, these are actual criminal offenses against my human rights, criminal offenses against the spiritual order and the spiritual laws. You're not going to have access to me and you won't allow to touch me or come near me. Source and the ancestors are putting extra people in and around me so that I'm not going to be inhibited any further on any level. Any spell work that's being done is sent right back. That's why people are going through what they're going through. And you're going to see people drop off just like that. Because there's a no tolerance, there is a demand to pay, and that's what's going on right now. Everybody from Calgary, it's a no-fly zone. There's no coming or going, there's no template for discussion. There just isn't. You don't get to impale the hate and the damage you've done to me and think that we're going to be pals. This was never a conversation. This was never be an option. It just won't. And that goes the same for the shadow government. That goes the same for every witch, for every warlock, and every person that has taken part. Any person that's taken money to come on and do what you've done, any person that has done what they have done with intention and malice, you're not going to be before me and we're not going to be buddies and pals. We're just not. You're going to move and I'm going to move forward. I wish you all the best. Everybody's forgiven. You have no weight with me. So from here on out, there will only be benevolent contracts. And those benevolent contracts, I'm going to say this one thing, because we've talked about protocol. It's not rocket science that you treat others that are going forward with divine benevolence of truth, order, and appreciation and respect. So if you can't come forward in the two ways that I've told everybody to get in touch with me, just because of the damage and the assassin attempts on my life, if you can't come forward in those two ways, it's very simple. I've made it very easy. It's very simple on those two ways to get in touch with me. Then we can't negotiate with on any level, right? So that's what I'm saying on that. For connection, collaborations, and communications, there is only those two ways to get in touch with me. If you make a PayPal payment for one of the sessions that I offer, there's a little comment box and you can put what your specific request is and your inquiry. And then I'll get back to you with a link or in a day and a time. And then we'll connect, by face recording, right? And then the bank has been given for drafts, monies, records, files, anything like that is paper form that needs to be sent to me. Because obviously I'm not dead, right? Any of these lies, any of these things have been going on with all of these corrupt stories, withholding of monies and things like that, things that I haven't even signed, haven't even been aware of because of, the various stories and narratives that have been going on to try and keep me, dead. All the other stories they've got going on, right? Refusing to have me in the collective in whatever ways they think they play God. So there's those two ways to get in touch with me. Again, if you're not going to come forward in honor and respect of who I am as a being, and you're not going to speak with me on a personal basis, then we're not going to have a lot of collaborations together. Because I deserve the minimum bare contact of a human experience, which is basic respect, talking with each other, whether that's through a chat line and the voicemail, through the chat line, through the links that I'll send. Because there's not going to be any, there's going to be no third party. There's going to be no subtle or covert communication. There's none of that. You're either going to show up transparent and you're going to show up in the benevolent ways that communication does happen. It means face to face, voice to voice, and, letter to letter or chat to chat. Thank you. So it has to work like that. There's not going to be any in-betweens as far as I'm concerned. With everything that I've been through. And again, if there is a man that thinks that this is okay, and a man that likes to test his potential courting partners, or there's men that like to do this and play like this, you're not going to talk with me anyways. Because I don't play these games. I never did, I never will. And I'm not going to lend my energy to that. Test all you want for your insecurities. Test all you want. My teams will give you karma. Because A, I haven't agreed to even be involved with your testing. I haven't been involved. I haven't signed anything. You've got none of my approval. And I probably wouldn't date you if that's how you work. So again, men have to do the healing. Heal your insecurities. Heal your reasons why you think that that's a normal thing to do. To put women that are homeless and have been attacked their whole lives, to put them through these types of tests. I think it's abhorrent. And you have to ask yourself, why would you do that to an innocent human being that has done absolutely nothing to you? And is that the way you would treat a divine feminine? Again, women have been treated so horribly that men really have to start off from scratch. What is normal? What is normal divine feminine treatment? Well, for one thing, you talk with me face to face or phone to phone or ear to ear or voice to voice. Let's have a heart to heart connection. You're not going to keep doing subtle, covert things where you're communicating through somebody, a third party, or you're communicating through a third party platform. No, we're not. This goes on all the time, with people wanting to. This is how 3D used to work, right? They used to have people that do research on you and test you, and then they'd send people out to, pretend date you or pretend this or pretend to see if you're going to, pretend to be a client that needs help, and are you going to help them off the street? All of these things they test you on. They test you on an infinite number of things. Instead of just having a conversation with you and, getting to know you as a real person or looking at your real resume, talking to people that are actually not paid to defame you. 200 people that were paid to defame me and rip me apart. Anyways, it's all going to come to the forefront. But that's this is for going forward, 2026. Connections, collaborations, and communications. There are the protocol, right? If I talk about a protocol, you're going to know that it's going to be protocol in how I want to be approached, right? I deserve to be approached with utter respect. Because I am a master and I don't need to waste any time with anybody before me that just wants to play those games. Because I'll keep the money and I won't return it to you just for wasting my time. And I do have that right. And if it goes to court, I will be proven right. Because the investigators will have all of the IP addresses on those that have been continually attacking me. So the evidence is all there. There's a plethora of evidence. Evidence is all there. All the background steps have already been done. So from here on out, only benevolent clients, pure of heart. If you want a healing session, a vocational alignment session, any of the sessions that I offer, activations, 5D alignment, all of that stuff we've been talking about, right? Getting you ready for 5D content, getting you ready for your new business, getting you ready for New Year, getting you ready for, the sharing of the wealth, all of those beautiful things. Source wants everybody to be a part of it. But there's protocols and standards, right? I deserve it. No more crappy treatment. So in that, anybody that would like to donate, I would love to have a donation. We had a fun talk yesterday about, I'm going to have, on Christmas morning, I'm going to have a Bailey's and coffee. So I've had a beautiful client donate to my Bailey's and coffee. Thank you so much. I'm so very grateful. So very grateful. So we're just going to tune into the collective angelics. Anybody that would like to ask a question, you can ask it telepathically. That has to do with ascension or the celestials. And if you'd like to donate, my PayPal is paypal.me/Joanna L. Ross. And you'll find my books on Amazon, also under Joanna L. Ross. And as soon as I get my tools, I need a new laptop so that I can finish my book 4 and 5. And so we're going to go to the telepathic connection. Thank you, Commander Ashtar. If you'd like to pull me into the connective of the celestials. I love seeing the celestials. I'm so happy about the celestial energies. This feels so good. Thank you. Thank you, celestials. They're standing all around me. I don't know if you can hear, or if you can feel them or see them. They're standing all around me. They've got all their hands on me. It's wonderful. They're just giving me love and light. That's how they do it. I love them. Oh, they're just talking with me. Thank you. They're being silly. They're saying they'd like to honor me this day. I'll share with you what I'm being shown. This is just their loving way with me. It's very sweet. They're showing all the celestials lift me, and I'm a pure white bunny. I'm a pure white bunny. And they're lifting me up, and they're saying, we'd like to honor you this way as the authentic purity. They're saying that Earth has been very fortunate to have me, and so that's what the purity of that white bunny means. But they're lifting me up, the celestials are lifting me up on my behalf, because I've radiated such positive love for the celestials, preparing humanity for the celestials. I love them so much. I love you. Heart, mind, body, and soul, we are with you. They said they're going to be tapping into our subconscious as well as our dream time on behalf of your higher self. So they only do these things with your higher self's approval, based on where you're at in your soul's blueprint and your divine timing, what you're ready for. And many of us will be ready because we've been working on this for so long, right? We've been working on preparing for contact and working with our celestials for so long. They're saying that, which we already know, that we're doing much of our sleep time work with them, preparing our energies. Why we do have to say, saying this is why you've had to say goodbye to certain people, because they've been in complete disregard of your spiritual life and who you are spiritually as an interdimensional being that is supporting divine plan for evolution. And so this is why you've had to say goodbye to certain people, because they refuse to accept this as part of your honor of your soul, to have unity consciousness be a part of your, your protocol, right? I have goosebumps everywhere. Thank you. That's a lot of energy. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So they're saying they just wanted me to remember to mention the address of my bank for anybody that wanted to send anything through. Again, I won't wear anything that anybody sends me. I don't wear anything that anybody sends me, just because obviously the background. But gift certificates and things like that, and money or checks, things like that. Feel free to send those if you choose. If not, that's fine too. Anything that is malevolent will not find its way. I don't wear anything that anybody gives me, unless you're a boyfriend and you've been with me for a very long time, or know your energy. I just don't wear things that people give you, well, unless you're like my friend. I have to trust your energy before I wear something. Is there a specific message before we leave, Commander Ashtar? So he's saying, he wants me to say this, I'm a conduit of the likes that have never been seen on this planet before. The deep gratitude that has been held on behalf of the work that I've done is insurmountable. The various programs and beings and species that have been assisted by my work, and the respect that I've had for all beings and all species, has been unparalleled. We hope that today will remain as a special day within the collective hearts of us bringing substantial honor to those like yourself that have amplified and substantiated a higher order and new alignments for the collective and for the galaxy. So Commander Ashtar is showing me this, very sweet. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I'm so grateful. Commander Ashtar is putting a badge on my lapel. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you. He's saying it's a divine order of service for courageous resilience, endurance, and devotion to the Divine Father's plan without wavering, not even an ounce. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I love you, Holy Spirit. I love you, Arriba, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I love you. And now they're showing me that as celebration, I get to have a nice hot bowl of soup because some days I don't eat anything that's hot, and it's like a thing. I'm looking forward to a hot bowl of soup from the beautiful donation that I had today. I'm very grateful for the donations. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So they're just honoring me in front of all of you. So that's wonderful. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And so too will your services be honored as well. And Spirit and the Galactic Federations will hold similar services for you with those groups that you work with. So just know that the Galactic Federations will have these types of special services for you as well, for the work that you do and your devotion. It means a lot to the Celestials. It really means a lot, right? We're here to anchor new energy. See, they're saying that we've been aboard many of their ships. Of course, the spiritual time in your dream time is how we most of us work with you, because it's just easier for us to work with you in your dream states, because your ego is not involved, right? It's your full spiritual self. The Arcturians have been very busy with us in healing many of the deep wounds that can be released at this time. So those of us that have been on the path forever, call the Arcturians in for those really stubborn wounds, right? Resentment is a big one. That takes a lot to get rid of resentment, because the same people have hurt you so many timelines. That's why we have resentment and grudges, is because sometimes these people have been with us for cycles after cycles after cycles after cycles. And sometimes it is, I mean, that's just, you gotta, 3 A's, right? You gotta acknowledge it. No, this has been like 50 years. Enough is enough, right? I keep saying enough and you keep coming back. No, you don't get to come back. So why is it my fault that I got to keep healing this grudge, because you keep coming back? I said no 800 times. You can't come back. Why is my word not valued? Right? And you have to state this, especially for Divine Feminine children. We have to be taught these new orders. No, you don't get to keep messing with me. It's a no. It was always a no. You just weren't listening. You were thinking you were still entitled to use me and to sell me back and forth. No, every time you sell me, you're getting 10 times the karma, because you were told already. So do whatever it is you do, it's your demise. Hi, and welcome to the group. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. And we're just going to the collective for we're talking with Commander Ashtar and the Systems of Light to see if there's any more messages before we go. We had a great class today. Did a lot of 5D alignment. Anybody that would like to contact me, there is only the 2 ways to contact me. Okay, through PayPal, paypal.me/Joanna L. Ross. And then I've given a special for this holiday season until January 15th, $150 US for 90 minutes. And I send you the links, and I send you the time and the day. And then we just hook up through that link. And then we go through the ascension session, or vocational alignment, or, you know, your book value and all that stuff we've been talking about, your 5D alignment. Or if it's a healing that you'd like, I'm seeing a few physical symptomologies in the collective. Just minor things, we're just moving energy. Again, it's with the energies of the lower chakras. Clearing out some of those energies will help your hips and your knees and your legs. I see some of the lower body injuries, blockages. Okay, one more question, Spirit. Can you filter me one more question? Yes, the enhancements that are going on in the brain right now is absolutely due to the light that will be coming within the new year, and the portals that are assisting humanity to have more immediate communication, like I'm having right now, of all the teams that are around me. And that's just the veils being removed, right? So you will feel different things happening in your brain. But then again, if you're worried, you can go to your doctor. But most often than not, if you go to the doctor now, they're not going to find anything wrong, because a lot of these are symptomologies of you releasing a lot of energy. Your teams are helping you release energy. And just the brain does have to be enhanced for more multidimensionality. And that's what we want, right? Capacity and aptitude. You can go back to my videos. Anything that I mark about capacity and aptitude is about your multidimensionality expanding, your consciousness expanding. And we want to also make sure, because there was a few things that were misunderstood in the collective, because people are not quite understanding consciousness. Consciousness is not about quantity, it's always about quality. This is why we've only needed 144,000 within the collective of billions to move forward in ascension. We don't need the numbers the same. If 10 people to 10 people consciously doesn't mean anything. It's impossible, because A, their DNA, their allocation within the histories of whatever planets they're working with. I mean, it's impossible. That's why it's never, ever a qualitative. It's not ever a quantitative experience. Consciousness is never quantitative, ever. Ever, 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 ever. Consciousness is always qualitative, because again, it depends on your experience, how many lifetimes, how much DNA have you activated, how much healing have you done within the dodecahedron, how much integration have you done within the dodecahedron, are you working with your clairs, are you working with your teams, what's your protocol? That's all consciousness. And you can't, there's no way that you can compare. You can't, you couldn't, you shouldn't, right? So there is that misnomer within the collective. Thank you. We're going to have some videos as soon as I get into a space that can support it. We're going to have videos where I'm going to play with makeup, because I do love makeup and I love being divine feminine. And we're going to talk about really fun things and helping divine feminine heal and lifting divine feminine up, and also talking with divine masculines on what they're now liking about the new divine feminine. So we're going to have some really fun interviews planned for 2026 once I get my space set up. So I'm looking forward to that, helping humanity heal, you know, wrong notions and old notions about divine feminine masculine energies, and really helping us learn from each other and lifting each other up, right? There's nothing more sexy than a divine masculine that asks questions, right? He wants to know a little bit more about energy, and he wants to know a little bit more about how you change and how you really start appreciating things in a deeper value. So I think that's pretty sexy. So we're going to have more shows like that that'll be more open dialogue, and more healing questions too. It's going to be a lot of healing this year. There was something, you go back to that thread, please, Spirit. That thread you just had me on was really good. What was that thread? Oh, okay. So he's just telling me. Okay. So, okay, I understand. So he's saying that there's going to be some. So we were talking about consciousness, right? So it's very important that we understand that. There is no way that anybody can feel comparative or judgmental or envious about consciousness. It's impossible, because the number of timelines you've run on, right? Your DNA, the universes you belong to, the timelines that you've actually been awake, your DNA alone is just impossible. So you should never ever compare. Because your DNA to somebody else's DNA, how somebody was brought up, the family, the lineage, the socio, the dogmatic, they're all in different placements of their social blueprint with source, right? So there's no way you could ever, accurately, quantifiably judge consciousness. You just can't. So whether you're choosing to think about and be a part of consciousness programs, don't ever think about it in the ways that is logically thought, because you're gonna miss the mark. That's not source at all. Consciousness is not something you can quantitatively put in a basket. You just can't, because it's all source. You can't say 10 for 10 people are the same. No, absolutely not. You can't even do that with the same two people, not even twins. You can't, and you shouldn't. Right? It only takes 144,000 of an entire billion collective to move humanity in the Divine Father's plan. So that's a fact, right? This has been known since the beginning of time, since the beginning of the prophecy. 144,000 is all it takes. And we're not even working with 144,000. 104,000 was the top of the echelon of numbers. There's no way we're working with 144,000, because so many people couldn't make it. There was so many people that just didn't make it. They chose not to. It was too hard. Really? Spirit just gave me a number. Wow. Is it really that low? Holy cow. That means those of us that are moving forward in ascension are really consciously We're conscious mavericks. Like, holy crap. I didn't think it was that low. Wow, we've done a great job. That's why there's a lot of spiritual help, because we're working with numbers that are just inconceivable. The amount of consciously awake that are affecting all the others. And then we have the grids, and then we have the omnipresent and all of the legions of light and the angels. So the more that you tap into what we offer, the more that you can start doing your work and doing your part, because you're responsible, you're accountable, right? North American. So wow, good job, people that are consciously awake and doing the work, because there's a difference. I also wanted to say that too. I mean, it doesn't matter really, right? But I always tend to stick up for the people that have been the underdogs that do a lot of the work. Those are the people that I speak for. I speak for those that are constantly battling against systems, and the ones that are constantly exhausted because they are doing the work. There's a difference between those that call themselves chosen one but don't do anything except think they're chosen. They don't have hands in the communities. They're not doing any daily work. They're not aligned with source. They're not aligned with their spirit guides. They just think they're chosen because they understand spirit, and they can listen to spiritual things and understand it. That doesn't mean you're chosen. Being chosen means that you're absolutely following your divine blueprint with Source Creator, and you're actually putting yourself active in the community. You're actually having your divine feminine, your masculine energies challenged every day, and you're doing the work. When you're chosen, it means you actually have a blueprint. You actually have a protocol. Are you using it? Are you working with your higher self every day? That's being chosen. Are you acting on what needs to be acted on every day? That's being chosen. Are you expanding your energy and your information and your knowledge and your intelligence every day? Are you preparing yourself for first contact? That's what being chosen. So there's a lot of misunderstandings in the collective, and there's a lot of abrasions about being chosen and all these things. Are you doing the work, basically? And you don't have to say you're chosen, but just do the work, and you're going to be lifted by Source. There's very few that, and the only reason why I've had to say it as many times as I've had is because I've been against the worst and the most corrupt and the most misogynistic and the most sadistic in the collective. I've had to. Source has needed that from me, because Source cannot lift me to the equal measure that I don't lift myself. So I have to. There's reasons why I've had to say and do and move in the direction I've had to, with the placements and statements and authority that I've had to. Because it's going to stand for most of our socioeconomic systems, our socio-spiritual systems, the ecology. There's going to be a part to play in all of it. So I have to have that voice. So I've had to prove it to those that I work with, those that work on behalf of me. I've had to prove that. And those that are going to be in leadership position do have to do that. You have to stand in your power. You have to stand in your truth. Know your protocol. Work with your protocol, your higher self every day. And then Spirit's going to say, yeah, they're absolutely walking in their destiny. No, nobody's going to do a destiny swap. I'm walking in my destiny. You don't get to. You're not approved. You're not aligned. You couldn't carry my destiny for a minute, for a second, for a quark. So again, know thyself. Know thyself in the infinite number of ways that you can, and then Source will lift you. But you have to be it first. Get in the elevator. I think we've said enough. Thank you, Source. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So, but Source just wanted everybody to know that that's why I do have to say those things. I've had to say it. I would rather not say it. I shouldn't have to fight for my voice every second. That should not be a thing. But it's had to be. That's just the way it is. But again, look what we've done, right? Wow, you have a few people that are really consciously active and consciously, warriors that are doing the work every hour on the hour. You're consciously sending out and standing in that balanced presence, and that is just enough, right? How you hold yourself is enough for 10 people that aren't consciously awake and aware. That's what Source was saying, that we haven't even walked forward with even a close percentage of 144,000. I mean, that number was the original prophecy. That's not what it is right now. So we've done a lot of freaking work, and we have to be so grateful and appreciative. So we'll just say this, we'll end this off with a collective prayer and a collective unity. We're going to say thanks to all of our celestials and all of our ancestors and all of the beautiful beings that have been before us and after us and around us, the guides that are working on our behalf, and the Mother and the Father for the Divine Father's plan for humanity. Because without any of these beings, there's no way we could be where we are. Lightworkers would not be where we are without the infinite help of all these beings that are supporting us and loving us. And we hold space. Thank you, Commander Ashtar, and all the systems of light and the infinite number of species. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I'm just seeing my, thank you all for all the work you've done on my third eye. Thank you. So they're just showing my insectoid family. I love my insectoid family. They make me cry all the time. They're so beautiful. I love you. 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 I have goosebumps everywhere. They're saying, we know you're going to do so many special things with the collective. We love you, we love you, I love you. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I love you. They say we're doting on you when you're not watching. Thank you. It's so fun. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So we're going to sign off, everybody. We thank you so much. Any donations or sessions, paypal.me/Joanna L. Ross to do your stretch. And do your energetic stretch. And go out and have a beautiful, nice day. Connect with nature, connect with Source Creator, connect with your higher selves. We're sending you so much love, and we love you so much. Donations and love to the collective, and love to the children, and love to the earth. I love all of my clients. I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you so much. I would not be me without you. You are the nourishment, and you are the seeds and the sand and the soils in my garden. You're the beautiful flowers. I love you, I love you, I love you. We'll see you tomorrow.